Same Salesforce org, same external client app, 4 different AI tools that are using the Salesforce hosted MCP. So by the end of this video, we're going to be able to connect each of those different tools to the Salesforce MCP. Before we dive into any of those tools, here's the most important thing that we need to set up to get any of them to work. It's the external client app that we configured just for Claude Code previously. Now we're going to expand it out into some other AI coding tools that we have. The Salesforce hosted MCP is a server that is an HTTP endpoint with OAuth. Pretty much every modern AI client now speaks the same HTTP transport sort of language. So one external client app can actually authorize all 4 of these applications using a URL callback and then JSON files or TOML files, whatever file the individual app actually needs to be configured. Callback URLs are the only thing that we're going to need to change in the ECA. And lucky for you all, I have already figured out all the details for the callback URLs and how to configure them per client. So you don't have to do any guesswork. And some of you might be thinking, do I actually need all 4 of these inside of my ECA? And the answer is most likely no. But if you have teams that are using Codex and some people are using Claude Code, this will be one way for you to configure and track your ECA without needing to create multiples, which can get a little annoying to manage. Let's jump into the ECA that's going to control all of this. This is a continuation from the previous video, which set up this ECA with Claude Code. So if you haven't watched that video, definitely check it out. We already have our ECA set up with everything configured. So now we need to set up the callback URLs, which will essentially allow for the other applications to work. We can jump over into edit for our ECA and let's get ChatGPT set up first. ChatGPT is an interesting one for the callback URL. There isn't a pre-existing callback URL like Claude. We'll need to jump over into ChatGPT and I'll go into my settings, apps, and there is the advanced settings over here. If you haven't clicked on this before, go ahead and just enable developer mode. And it's basically saying that we're going to add in a custom MCP or custom app. Then we want to create the app, give it a nice name. So we'll say Salesforce Sandbox S Object All. And then we need to grab the server URLs. If you forgot where to grab these, we can type MCP in the setup, open that up, jump into Salesforce, our S Object All, make sure that's enabled, of course, or activated, and grab the server URL here. Jump back to chat, drop that in here, and the authentication type is going to stay as OAuth. I'm going to click the advanced settings, and it's going to actually generate the callback URL for us. So we're going to need to copy this and bring that back into the ECA and paste it in here. Similarly, we're going to need that client key that we have. Once again, I've got that pre-filled in here. You do not want to share any of the secret or key. This is a scratch org. It's going to be gone by the time anybody wants to do anything, and there's not any good data in here anyways, but you want to make sure that these are kept secret. Now, I put my key in here, and we don't actually need the client secret. All of this stuff looks good, and we can actually see it's pulling in some scopes that it knows that we are going to need. The rest of the stuff, you can look through it, but we don't actually need it. And we're going to check this off saying that we understand that we're using something that ChatGPT basically hasn't approved. And that is fine. We're going to create this. And this is from the Salesforce documentation on how to set this up. So we should feel generally pretty good about it. But in the future, maybe Salesforce and OpenAI will do a partnership where you don't have to go through all of this and it's just a one-click connection. All right, looks like we are running into an issue here. And this is most likely our connected app has not processed yet. I'm just going back through the settings, apps, and just like before, we want to try to connect. And there you go. After about maybe 2 to 5 minutes, when I clicked the connect button, it loaded in and actually went all the way through with the connected app, which is really great because now we are finally connected, and let's see what ChatGPT can do. All right, I've got a prompt in here. Let's fire this off, and it's saying that I'm a new AE. Give me a quick read on the 5 open opportunities so I can ramp up really fast. Tell me the deal size, the sales cycle, and one thing that matters about them. And we can see here now, if we look through these tool calls, that it is using the Salesforce MCP and going through and looking through a few different things for our deals and giving me like what matters. So everything that I just asked for. So if you have a sales team, this can be super helpful in getting them ramped up really quickly. And staying in that sales lens, let's check this one out, which is looking at our closed won deals from the past 90 days and what's our average deal size. Once again, it's calling Salesforce correctly, looking at our accounts and our opportunities, and it should pull that information back for us. Here we go. Over the past 90 days, 3 won deals, and it's giving us information on those. One really nice thing about using these chat interfaces is you can say, create a chart from this data. So you can create different artifacts and charts on the fly so that it's easier for you to understand and even interact with the data. Claude does a really great job at this, and ChatGPT should also be really good at creating these artifacts. And here we go. We've got a chart here for all the different information that it's just pulled from Salesforce. One quick break from the MCP setups to put something on your radar. If this video is your speed using Salesforce and AI to build out something production ready, then I'd recommend checking out Revenue Engineer. Links down below. It's all the things that I can't fit inside of this YouTube video. YouTube is great for a short and quick tutorial, but there's lots of things that I have to leave out. So that's where Revenue Engineer comes in. It's a full deep dive and breakdown of all the things that can make you successful as a GTM engineer, Salesforce developer, or revenue engineer. Right now, there's a waitlist link in the description. No spam, no fluff. A lot of the things that we're going over now, just a little bit deeper. And speaking of a little bit deeper, we've checked out ChatGPT in the web. So let's start looking at my favorite coding tools, Claude Code, and how we can set up this MCP. Let's take a look at how we can connect these MCPs to your more developer-focused tools like Cursor and Claude Code. I'm inside of Cursor, and there's a few different ways that we can set up this MCP. One is by creating a .cursor folder, and inside of that folder, we can add in the correct MCP structure. So at the top here, we've got our MCP property, and I've named this MCP server in this specific way just so that I'll know which one I'm using since I've got multiples inside of this project. But ideally, you don't need the -cursor or whatever tool you're using at the end. Then we need to set up the URL. So that is the same exact one that comes from the MCP section inside of Salesforce. And we can see in this case, since I'm using a Scratch org, it's got that sandbox inside of it. And then we're adding in the auth of our client ID. So what this kind of looks like once we add this folder and file in here is we can go into our cog inside of Cursor, open up our tools and MCPs, and we can already see that I'm connected in here. So I'm going to log out, and you'll do the same exact thing. You'll try to connect, and it'll wait for the callback. Now we're getting this issue. We've seen this before, and this basically means we need to go ahead and update our callback URLs so that it has the correct callback that we are looking for. The callback URL for Cursor is inside of the documentation. So you can see it here, and then of course links down below for that one. While I'm here, I'm going to actually go ahead and add the same exact one that I need for Claude Code, which is this localhost 8080 callback. So I'm going to save both of those just because I know it takes a little bit. The key here is that we've got one external client app for multiple MCP clients that we are connecting to. So we've got ChatGPT, Cursor, and then Claude Code will be coming in a second. Okay, let's try Cursor one more time and connect over here. And perfect, it automatically logged me in. And then I'm going to open this with Cursor. And we might have an error, failed OAuth, but it looks like it's good. I'm going to disable this and re-enable this and try to log in one more time. Okay, and it looked like it worked that time. I needed to disable and re-enable it one more time, but that's really because of the propagation inside of the ECA. So it's just taking a while for it to be configured. But now we can see all the tools that we have available, which is really great. And we can use Cursor to start working with our Salesforce data. So I'm going to close this out. We'll focus on Cursor for a second here, and let's fire this off. We're asking what API name for fields stored on the accounts and industry. So what we're hoping is that it's going to run the MCP, which it looks like it's doing here, and it's going to start getting different information for us. And this looks really great, right? we've got our label, and our API values. If you're ever working with these tools and they're getting pick list values wrong, you can use an MCP and have it give context to whatever you're doing to build it out more successfully, right? So grabbing custom labels, for example. Now we're going to have it write some Apex, and to do that, it's going to use the MCP to get different information about our custom fields or anything relevant. So this is really what I was just mentioning. We're giving it additional context for whatever it's getting created or being used for. And here it is. I don't think we have any custom fields, but if we did, it would be able to find them inside of here. So that's really slick. Okay, let's also try out Codex. This is the OpenAI version of ChatGPT, a terminal-based coding tool. And let's type out MCPs so that we can see our list. And something that's interesting here is that when I type out my MCP list, we can already see that my Salesforce S-Object all is inside of here. And one reason that I think this exists, because I have not configured anything in here, is since this is connected to my web version of ChatGPT, it's already pulling down these values. I haven't been able to verify this 100% yet, but I have not configured anything for my MCPs inside of Codex, but these pull down automatically. You know how this works in more detail, leave a comment down below. I'd love to learn more about this, or maybe even make a full episode with you on it. Since this is already connected, let's try out a few things. Audit my pipeline for each industry that has an open opportunity. Report on the following: count of open opportunities, total open amount, average deal size, and the largest single open op by name. In Codex, I have noticed this pasting issue where you can't really paste things super well, but you can always right click and paste things as it's going through. We're going to allow Codex to use the tools that we are looking for, and we can even see the details over here of what's going on. So that's really cool. And it's going to go out, pull this information from Salesforce using the MCP, which is really nice. This is a great way to give access to your Salesforce data in a more safe way than giving them full CLI access for people like other devs on your team that are trying to understand your Salesforce data and the structure that's in it, but they don't potentially need CLI access. Let's go ahead and take a look at the .mcp.json, which we'll need for our Claude Code configuration. This one is very similar to what we're using for Cursor. This is also locally inside of my project folder. There are ways of adding them globally, but I'm just doing it locally for now. And we can see here that this is a .mcp.json, where this one is just an mcp.json. This will trick you up. It has, if you're using both of these tools, it has gotten me before. So one just quick tip there. In this instance, we've got a type that's being set up, our URLs, and then we have a different section for our OAuth. Same client ID, and then the port that we're using for the callback. The Salesforce documentation didn't go over this in detail, so I had to do some digging to figure this out, but it wasn't super hard once I got it working. And of course, there'll be examples inside of the description of this video, so you can get access to this without needing to type all of this stuff out. Now I'm going to open up my terminal and type in Claude. So now my Claude Code is loaded up, and let's do /mcp to see all of our MCPs that we have. Here I'm going to open this up, and we can see that I've got this Salesforce S-Object all. I'm going to authenticate. Let's try that out. Looks like we're still running into an error with this one too. And one thing you can do when you're troubleshooting this as well is ask Claude Code to help you resolve this. So I'm getting this error when trying to use the Salesforce MCP. And let's go back over here and also paste the error in and let it cook. We can see that this is trying to figure out what the issue is, which is kind of cool. It'll help you debug. And if you're trying to set up a brand new type of tool that needs to connect to your MCP, this is a great way of figuring that out. Let's go ahead and send it a screenshot of our callback info and see if it can figure out what's going on. And this is exactly what I mean here. It was able to pick up that we need localhost 8080/callback and not OAuth callback. So let's update this, add another line in here. And remember, we can add as many of these as we want as long as they are on a new line. And let's see if we can call that MCP now. Give it a minute, but I'm also gonna being patient. All right, let's try to authenticate now. Here we go. It looks like it has processed, but let's try this one more time. Okay, there we go. Our authentication was successful. It did take a little bit for the ECA to propagate all the way through, but now we have Claude Code set up with the MCP. Let's take a look at some quick demos as well. We want to look at our open opportunities closing this quarter and flag some of the activity that's going on here. I'm going to actually press Shift Tab to put this in auto mode, and we'll see if this starts using the MCP without us needing to approve anything. And auto mode is really great unless it's pretty much deleting or doing some sort of irreversible change. It will just continue to approve the different tool calls. Now, this is a bit aggressive. You may not want to use this all the time, but in this situation, it's pretty safe since it's a lot of read-only things that's going on. You can see the different tool calls. I'm doing Control O, and here's a bunch of different calls that it's doing, and it's chaining them together, getting the correct information that we need from this whole process. And here is that table that we had requested. I'm going to preview it inside of my browser of all of the different data that we were just looking for, which is really great, right? It's generating it and putting it in an asset that we can then potentially use somewhere else. I hope this was helpful getting all of these different tools connected depending on what your organization approves of and what you like to use. Drop a comment down below of what your coding or agentic tool of choice is. And remember that you don't need to connect all of these callbacks to your ECA, right? Only use the ones that you actually need. If you're still a little bit confused about the setup, go ahead and check out the previous video that went over the setup of the external client app in a lot of detail. Make sure to subscribe if you're really trying to progress your AI and Salesforce skills, and I'll see you in the next one.